I want to rank the way people think about retirement because, from my experience, how you think through retirement matters almost more than the numbers themselves. I'm Nico, and for 16 years, I've helped people think more clearly about retirement. F tier, retiring away from work with no clear vision on what's next. A lot of people are so motivated to stop working and to have that freedom of their time and do whatever they want on any given day, but they haven't sat down to think about how they're going to actually fill that time. And what it leads to is a life full of debate of what to do next. And should I go do this or should I go do that? And the reality is, people start to feel unfulfilled. The glorious part about retirement is it can be whatever you want it to be, but you have to give it thought to make sure it maximizes the freedom that you worked so hard for the 30 or 40 years it took to get there. Who are you going to spend the time with? What are you going to spend doing? Are you going to do it with kids and grandkids? Are you going to travel? Are you going to get involved in your community? But you have to have purpose. One of the hardest mental shifts for retirees to make is that loss of identity of no longer being a worker or employer or employee or a manager or whatever it was they were. And now they twiddle their thumbs wondering, where's my identity going to come from next? This should be the most glorious time in your life, filled with the people you care about, the hobbies you love to do, and the experiences that bring you joy and purpose. You can't just retire from work. You have to retire into the next chapter of your life. F tier, random withdrawals. If your plan in retirement is just to pull from your portfolio willy-nilly as you wish and as you need, with no clear strategy of how much you'll need monthly, or maybe the best place to pull it from, the tax impacts of pulling from account A versus account B, you are leaving so much of your financial future to chance. And the reality is, after 30 years of hard work, nothing should be left to chance at this stage of life. Random withdrawals are the same thing as just random contributions. The downside is random contributions work during the accumulation stage because you're not actually using the money. But when you're spending your hard-earned assets, there has to be a strategy on which account you draw from, how much you can safely take, and the impact of those decisions over a 10, 15, 20, or maybe even a 30-year life cycle. Randomness is not how you get through retirement. C tier, measuring readiness by account balance alone. By all means, account size matters, but it doesn't tell the full story. It doesn't tell you, are you being tax efficient? It doesn't tell you the confidence level that you should have that your withdrawal strategy will work over a 30-year life cycle. It doesn't tell you about the possible risks of healthcare costs in the future, or maybe if you have a legacy goal, what that could look like when you maximize it over time. We have met with dozens and dozens of families that had, by all definitions, all the money in the world, but they didn't have clarity and confidence on how they could turn all those dollars into what they need in retirement to enjoy themselves. Your account balance tells a portion of the story, but it's not the entire story by itself. B tier, wanting safety, but not defining what that actually means. So many people enter in retirement saying they want to feel safe, but does that mean they have stable income they can rely on? Does it mean they have protection from market downside risks? Does it mean they have a tax strategy that minimizes tax exposure over time? Or does safety to them just mean they have peace of mind? They know they're going to be okay. They get to spend time doing the things that they love with the people they care about most. If you don't define what safety means to you, there is no way you're going to be able to figure it out by just guessing and hoping that the outcome is you feel safe. We have to know what safety means to you so you can clearly figure out what pieces of the puzzle you need to plug in to give yourself that safety. A tier, stress testing your retirement before you get to retirement. You don't want to put a boat on the water to find out there's a hole in the boat and now it's sinking. The best time to stress test your plan is before you get to retirement. You need to understand, what are the tax complications or implications of the decisions we're making? Where are we going to draw our money from to pay our bills, and how long will it last? And more importantly, could we increase our spending? One of the biggest problems we see with retirees is they've never actually stress test their world, and they don't know what they can do. So they get to retirement and they're used to living off of, let's say, $5,000 a month, and the reality is they could live off of 10. And they're underspending, under-enjoying, under-giving, and limiting what they could be doing because they've never stress tested both the good, let's spend more and have more fun, and the bad, maybe we need to spend a little bit less, or maybe we need a more proactive tax strategy. We have to try on a piece of clothes before we actually buy them and bring them home, or they might not fit. Let's not waste time and find out too late that there's a problem in the plan. Stress test before you get there. S tier, giving your money purpose. If you want to have complete clarity and confidence in retirement, you have to give your money a purpose. These dollars support lifestyle. These dollars support our family giving goals. These dollars support our health care. These dollars support our inflationary protection measures. Every dollar needs a purpose, and the more purpose we have, the easier it becomes to know where we place those dollars. And when we have a clear set path forward of which dollars go in which bucket, because it has a clearly defined purpose, it brings clarity, it brings confidence, and it creates enjoyment across the board. We have to have a purpose. I've found that purpose-based planning is actually one of the most difficult things for retirees to do, and it makes sense when you step back and think about it. For 20 or 30 or 40 years, they had one purpose with all of their dollars: save. They wanted to put money into a 401k, they wanted to pay down debt, or they wanted to grow their investments. Every dollar had the same purpose: to be put aside for their future so they could enjoy themselves in retirement. But in retirement, the rules change. We have a lot of different purposes that we have to think through. We have to know which dollars are going to take care of our healthcare needs. We have to know which dollars are going to pay our month-to-month bills. We have things that don't go away when we retire, even though our income might. We still have food, utilities, gas, health insurance, property taxes, you name it. And we have to start to compartmentalize our dollars and realize that we can no longer take a one-size-fits-all approach where every dollar shares the same goal. That's a huge mental shift for most retirees, but it's one of the most important things to make sure your retirement is exactly what you want it to be, which is why purpose-based planning for your dollars is an S tier category. The point is, retirement is not just about a number. It's not about getting to some magic number that your coworker, your friend, your neighbor, your brother, your golf buddy said you need to accumulate and get to. The point is to give yourself the retirement that you've earned after 30 or 40 years of hard work and sacrifice. If you don't have absolute clarity on the purpose behind your dollars and how you need to think through this transition into and through retirement, come sit down with Momentum Wealth. Our team would love to help you understand how to take everything you have and turn it into everything that you need to give yourself the retirement that you've earned.